Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to Best Damn Movie Related Show on the internet, the John Campea Show, coming to you from right here on my YouTube channel. I'm, of course, your host, John Campea, and it's an honor and a privilege to have you guys joining me here today, as it is every day when we get together and talk about our favorite stuff in the world, movies, movie news, all bunch of entertainment stuff, and it's awesome to have you guys here today. So we got a bunch of things we're going to talk about today. Chadwick Boseman and the Russo brothers are getting together again after just working together, of course, on Avengers Infinity War. We got a new Robocop movie coming from the director of District 9. There's going to be a human in Godzilla 2 that can control the monsters. Really, our first look, official picture from Shazam, and a whole bunch more. But before we get to any of that, got a little bit of house cleaning to do. Yesterday, I found out via Twitter, actually, that the John Campea Show has just received a couple of nominations from the IAW TV Awards, which is, of course, the Academy of Web Television. And the two award nominations we got were for 2018 Best Host nomination. I got nominated for Best Host and got nominated for Best Live Series. Now, the last time I was at the IAW TV Awards, the ceremony was in Las Vegas, and you can see at the picture there, that was the last time I was at the IAW TV Awards, when AMC Movie News at the time, we won Best Live Series. And of course, I'm nominated for Best Live Series again this year. This is actually, this sucker's heavy. This is actually one of my favorite possessions, actually. I was very proud when we won that award. This is the one we got. And I'm very honored to be nominated again. And I'm only nominated because of you guys. You guys make this community possible. You guys are the only reason I'm even able to do this show at all. So, I mean, it's really because of you guys. So I want to say thank you guys so much for your support, and for your support from being here and being part of the community, for your support, for those of you who are Patreon supporters, for those of you guys who send in super chats. You guys make this all possible. So really special thank you to you guys for all of that. So the awards ceremony is being held in Los Angeles this year on August 24th. And being human, I went and started looking at all the other people I'm nominated against. And I'm like, fuck, they're all better than me, which really sucks. Like, there's this one Dr. Yu who does this show where she like visits people with medical conditions at home. It's awesome. I never even heard of her show. Oh my God, it's awesome. And then there's this Canadian dude done by the CBC. It's a web series done by the CBC. And this dude who hosts a show where he's like talks to kids. And I'm like, that's stupid. And I watched an episode too. I'm like, this guy's awesome. And I'm like, shit, well, I have no chance. But still, it's awesome to be nominated. And so thank you to all you guys who supported me and let me get to this point. So I'll let you know on August 24th how it all goes. Another little bit of house cleaning we have to do today is catch up on yesterday's question of the day. Of course, yesterday's question of the day was about the new Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie. Of course, we talked about yesterday how it's now official. It starts shooting in September, could be released in late 2019. So I asked you guys, is it a good idea to do this Joker movie, this outside of the DCEU Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie? And I got to tell you, for the second day in a row, you guys shocked me. Because the day before that, I was like, is Lando going to live or die? I thought for sure you guys would say he was going to die, and I voted that he was going to die. But overwhelmingly, you guys said he's going to live. I thought for sure you guys were going to say that this Joker movie is a bad idea, but no. 71% of you guys said, yes, this Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie is a good idea. 28.83% of you guys are saying it is not a good idea. I'm totally shocked. Now, you guys know I think it's a good idea. I've been making an argument that I thought it was a good idea, but you guys never listen to me. So, what difference did that make? So I was really shocked and surprised to see how you guys voted. So there it is. 71% of you guys on the question of the day yesterday said, yes, the Joker movie is a good idea. Now, we've got another question of the day today. Going to have something to do with The Rock and Shazam and Black Adam. We'll get to that first question of the day in just a little bit. But now let's get on to the topics today. Now, how do we pick our topics? It's simple. You guys submit them. How do you guys submit a topic or a question to be on the John Campea Show? It's simple. Just email me, john@thejohncampeashow.com. Just email me at john@thejohncampeashow.com. Put the word topic in the subject line. That way I know it's for the show. And as always, guys, keep those emails to 90 words or less. All right, let's get on now with the first question of the day. And the first question today comes to us from Michael Solarek, who writes, Love the show, John. It's always fun to watch. Thank you so much, Michael. My question has to do with Christopher Robin. Oh my God, how good does that movie look? The new trailer came out and it's great. But how much do you think it's going to make at the box office? I think given the brand and the fact that it's coming out in August, it could have legs and be a sleeper hit. Your thoughts? Thanks. Thank you for a fun movie show. Well, thank you so much, Michael. I appreciate that. And yeah, so we've got Christopher Robin coming out. The trailers have been nothing short of like completely spectacular. Like absolutely, completely spectacular. Like they make me fall in love. Every new trailer I see, we've seen 3 now. Each new one makes me fall in love with it just a little bit more. It is so charming and so endearing. And Ewan McGregor, like, look, we've all been focusing on how cute Pooh and Eeyore and Tigger are, and that's all well deserved. Ewan McGregor as Christopher Robin is selling this movie, like completely. He looks just incredible in the role. He was perfect for it. It's looking great. Now, how much money will it make? I don't think, like, in today's thought processes of, oh, movies open $100+ million, it's not going to make a lot that way, but it's going to do really well, I believe, for itself. First of all, let's look at the context. What is it opening against? So it's opening against this little Fox X-Men wannabe kind of movie called The Darkest Minds. I'll be honest, I've seen this trailer 100 times. I'm still not really sure what this movie's about. It's also opening against this John Cho movie, Searching, with Deborah Messing as well, not being given any marketing support. This movie, Searching. So that's not going to be too much of a threat. Then you got this Mila Kunis movie, The Spy Who Dumped Me, comedy. Not a bad looking trailer, but to be honest, they haven't been putting out many, like, I've seen very, very little marketing for this Spy Who Dumped Me movie. Very little marketing. So I have not seen much marketing for Darkest Minds. They haven't been doing a lot of marketing for Searching at all. And I've seen very little marketing for The Spy Who Dumped Me. So none of these other films are getting a lot of support against Christopher Robin. I'm thinking Christopher Robin, solid, is going to come in around 30 to 35 million opening weekend. And I think it's going to be number 1 that weekend. And I think it's going to do a solid $30 to $35 million opening weekend. And that's fine for a movie like that. And I do believe if the movie is as good as it looks like it's going to be, it's going to get word of mouth and it's going to have legs. And really, there's nothing really big opening out over the next couple of weeks after that. Like nothing monstrously huge. So I think it's going to do okay. It's going to do well. Again, it all is going to come down to how good is the movie? How good is it? Because if it's real good, it can have some really terrific legs. So that I'm pegging around 30 to 35 million. That's my guess. What do you guys think? Where do you think Christopher Robin is going to come in at? But I love that picture Ray made. Anyway, let's move on to the second topic today. And the second topic today comes to us from Jessica Bean. And Jessica Bean writes, "Hey, John, I liked both the big monster movies Warner Brothers has put out in Kong and Godzilla, and I'm looking forward to the new movies. I'm wondering if you heard that Godzilla 2 actress Vera Farmiga said that her character will have a way to talk to and control the giant monsters. Isn't that sort of ridiculous? Why can't the monster movies just be about the monsters?" All right, thanks a lot for the question, Jessica. And yes, for those of you who have not heard, actress Vera Farmiga, who of course is in the Conjuring films, she's a great actress. I mean, she's absolutely wonderful. And she's one of the people who's going to be in Godzilla 2. Now, she made some comments. If you don't know what it is she's talking about, she said comments about controlling the monsters. Here's specifically what Farmiga had to say about her character in Godzilla 2. She said the following. She, talking about her character, has figured out a way to communicate with the creatures and potentially control them using their bioacoustics on a sonar level. So she is like a DJ for the monsters. Let me read that again. She has figured out a way to communicate with the creatures and potentially control them using their bioacoustics on a sonar level. So she is like a DJ for the monsters. I was reading one of the movie news sites, I can't remember right now, but they said, forget Godzilla 2, just call it Godzilla DJ for the Monsters, and you got a hit film. Terrific. That's a terrific title. Godzilla DJ for the Monsters. I'll be honest, I don't know how I feel about that. The idea that these giant monsters can now be controlled. There's something that's so, like, chaotic about Godzilla. the whole notion that man has no control. Like, to me, that's always been one of the underlying philosophical messages of the Godzilla movies, is that, in a world where we as a race, humanity, we believe we can control everything. Godzilla is kind of like a cautionary tale that there are things we can't control. Now, maybe I'm thinking too deep into Godzilla, but no, I've always felt that was one of the underlying philosophical principles of Godzilla, was the notion that there are things in this world we cannot control. There can be massive things of chaos that are completely beyond us. And the notion of introducing a character that can control the monsters seems to me to be, the antithesis of what the overall philosophy of Godzilla is. Now, we want to be careful here. Let's not run too far ahead of ourselves over building this entire huge theory about one little quote. Maybe once we see the movie and we can take her quote and put it into context, we'll go, oh, that's what she meant by that. Because right now we're just me included, I'm guilty of this too. We're kind of taking one quote from the actress and kind of running amok with it, building this entire construct of a theory around this is going to be the whole movie, when really maybe it means nothing at all. So I'm not going to get too far ahead of myself about it till we see the movie and get to see some context for it. But in principle, it does seem awkward to me, the notion of introducing a way of controlling these monsters, because that kind of undermines the overall theme of what Godzilla is, in a way. So, but again, let's wait and see the movie. We may be completely taking her comments out of context at this point, so let's wait and see what it actually all means. All right, let's move on now to the third topic of the day. And the third topic today gets submitted to us from Jason Hornsby, who writes, "Greetings, Giovanni." Well, greetings, Jason. "I've been a Chadwick Boseman fan ever since I saw him in the Jackie Robinson movie 42, and I thought he dominated in Black Panther. Anyway, I read that he is now starring in and producing a new movie with the Russo brothers called 17 Bridges as his next movie where he plays a cop. Don't you think with the success of Black Panther, he should do more fantasy and sci-fi / comic book stuff while he's hot in it?" All right, thanks a lot for the question, man. So yeah, for those of you who haven't heard, it was just announced, of course, the Russo brothers who directed Chadwick Boseman in Avengers Infinity War. They didn't direct Black Panther, but they did direct him in Infinity War. They are now teaming up with Chadwick Boseman again, who's going to star in, and I believe also produce, this movie called 17 Bridges. So for those of you who don't know anything about it, here's the little synopsis that came out online about it. So the STX Films project follows a disgraced New York City Police Department detective played by Chadwick Boseman, who, after being thrust into a citywide manhunt for a cop killer, is given a shot at redemption. So we're going to be following Chadwick Boseman playing a disgraced cop, and now he's, I guess, given a chance to be a hero again. I guess that's the whole thing about giving a shot at redemption. Unless, of course, the citywide manhunt for a cop killer they're talking about is the reason he's a disgraced cop. Maybe this cop killer is a guy that he let get away or something like. Anyway, so the project sounds fascinating to me. Chadwick Boseman is fantastic, not only in a movie like 42, but he's amazing in Marshall. He's amazing in Get On Up, the one where he plays Brown. I mean, this dude is a world-class actor. And it's almost kind of sad that it took a big Marvel character for people to start to recognize the talent that this guy is. But because I've been talking about Chadwick Boseman forever. Anyway, the question about whether or not he should kind of shun these types of movies and kind of focus on comic book genre films, sci-fi adventure films, things like that, while he's hot in the genre right now, I would say no. I would say no, because I believe roles like 42 and Get On Up and Marshall, it's these roles that gave him that, I hate using this word, but it's appropriate here, that gave him that gravitas, right? That he could then bring into the MCU as Black Panther, because it wasn't just some schlub with a good physique playing Black Panther. It's this celebrated actor. And that's what got him there. And that's where his heart is. I mean, he just loves being an actor. If you ever listen to Chadwick Boseman being interviewed, he loves acting. He loves the art of acting, and he's amazing at it. So for him to continue, make sure he keeps his career rolling. Make sure he doesn't just get typecast in as a superhero type of character or a sci-fi type of character. Keep active. Keep doing those films that gave you the name that you have now. And I think him going into doing a movie like 17 Bridges, which, by the way, sounds amazing. I think this could be really special, especially with the Russo brothers producing, especially with Chadwick Boseman starring in it. I mean, just the description of the film sounds intriguing. Now you add these names, this sounds great. I think keeping at least one of his feet in doing those types of movies, doing dramas, doing something gritty, doing these types of films, I think is only good for him when it comes to the comic book genre. I believe keeping his name relevant and keeping himself known as a sharp A-list actor, not just a comic book actor, I believe that, ironically, helps his comic book films. So no, I don't agree that he should just stay in this little genre here now. He's had great success, maybe not box office-wise, but he's had great success doing these other films. I say keep doing them, and I'm really glad he is, because he's too good of an actor to just keep in one genre. He's just too good of an actor to just put into a box of one genre and leave him there. I think he's great that he's doing this, and this movie sounds really good to me. All right, let's move on to the fourth topic. And the fourth topic today comes to us from Edison McConnell, who writes, my question is, in all caps, why would they make another Robocop movie? They've got Neill Blomkamp directing, and his last two movies sucked. They just put out a new one like 3 years ago, talking about a new Robocop movie. And it only made like $240 million, so not a ton of people are interested. Now this new one is supposed to just be a sequel to the original. Jumping on the whole, let's ignore the other films bandwagon like Terminator and Halloween. So why do it? All right, so for those of you who may be a little bit like iffy about what it is Edison's talking about, an announcement came out yesterday that District 9 director Neill Blomkamp is going to be directing a Robocop movie. Now, according to the reports, this Robocop movie is going to be a direct sequel to the original Robocop. So, when Edison says, it's jumping on the bandwagon of Terminator and Halloween, well, that's what Terminator and Halloween are doing. The new Terminator film pretends all the other Terminator movies after Terminator 2 don't exist. And this new Terminator film they're making is a direct sequel to Terminator 2. They're saying that this new Halloween film completely ignores all the other Halloween movies, pretends they don't exist, and is just a direct sequel to the original Halloween. Now we're hearing that this Robocop movie is going to be considered a direct sequel to the original Robocop. Does that mean they're going to get Peter Weller back? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, I suppose. Here's the thing. Neill Blomkamp, I am iffy on Neill at this point because I thought Elysium was a bad film. I thought Chappie was a really bad film. Then he had this Alien project going. Fox pulled the rug out from under that. Apparently the audience isn't so big on watching Aliens anymore. Is he the right guy to do it? And is this the right movie to do? Now, from what I understand, they're rewriting the script, but even the rewritten script for this new Robocop movie is going to be based on an old script that was written a long time ago that has a lot of politics in it and stuff like that. And maybe the bones of that Robocop script could be more relevant and applicable today than maybe it would have been if they had done it 15 years ago, And maybe that script will be more timely and, like we said, relevant to today than the 2014 Robocop movie that came out. By the way, that 2014 Robocop movie wasn't that bad. Wasn't great, wasn't anywhere near as good as the original, but it wasn't bad. I thought that too with Michael Keaton. I thought that 2014 Robocop movie was actually okay. I thought it had a bunch of upside. Had some downside, but I thought it had a bunch of upside. I liked it. Anyway, as Edison points out in the email, though, the movie only made like $240 million worldwide. It lost money. Not a ton of money, but it lost money. Is this a good idea? Honestly, I don't know. I'm iffy on a couple of levels. One, I'm iffy on doing yet another Robocop movie. Even if it is doing something different, like a direct sequel to the original, I'm iffy on just doing it in the first place. Number two, I'm iffy on Neill Blomkamp. And that sucks to say because District 9 is not just good, it's amazing. District 9 is just flat out amazing. So it kind of hurts me to doubt Blomkamp at this point, but I do at this point because his last two films, I honestly thought were just straight up bad films. I thought Elysium was quite bad. I thought Chappie was crappy. I mean, I didn't mean it to rhyme like that. Chappie was crappy. But anyway, so I didn't like either of them. So you got a project I'm iffy on with a director I'm iffy on. Honestly, I don't know how to feel about this. But there must be something special in this script to get some people's attention. I've already seen online that there are some people that are actually quite excited about the notion of this movie, so that's great. And hopefully, fingers crossed, this movie comes out and it brings back that Neill from District 9 and we get that same kind of brilliance that we got in District 9. Or it'll be another bad, forgettable movie. We'll just have to wait and see. But anyway, that's just how I feel about it. What do you guys think? Do you think this Robocop movie is a good idea? Do you trust Neill at this point doing it? Or even if you think he's the greatest director in the world, do you just think it's a bad project to do? Let me know what you guys think. Jump into the comment section below and leave your thoughts. All right, let's move on to the final emailed topic of the day. And the final email topic today comes to us from Stuart Paris, who writes, "Greetings and salutations, guys. Just wondering if you saw the new official image of Zach Levi in the Shazam costume. I'm trying to stay optimistic about this movie, but I'm not feeling the costume. And the shot of him and the kid just hanging around in front of a store has a lazy big feel." I think you mean like the Tom Hanks Big movie. Has a lazy big feel to it. "I'm nervous the film is just going to be pure cheese. Am I worried for nothing?" All right, thanks a lot for the question, Stuart. And for those of you who don't know what he's talking about, this is the picture right here. This is the first official image that Warner Brothers has released for the movie. Here's a little bit of a closer look at it. We, of course, see Zachary Levi. I love Zach Levi. We see him in the Shazam costume, hanging out in front of the store, drinking a box of cola with his buddy, unless that's supposed to be Billy. I don't know if that's supposed to be Billy's buddy or Billy. I can't remember off the top. I didn't look into it. I should have found out. So whether he's just imaginary at that point or whether he's actually physically there at that point, I don't know. It's all out of context. And context, of course, is king. Right now, this picture we're seeing is out of context. I'm going to be honest with you. If you guys have been watching me, you know I've been trying to stay positive about Shazam. Number one, you got the director of Lights Out doing it. I think that's great because I think he's a great director. They're saying they're going fun comedy with the movie. That's probably the right way to go for a movie like Shazam. So I'm encouraged by that. I will admit, from the beginning, I have not been big on the costume. It's a very literal translation from the comic book, but I think this costume is a good example that you can't just take a literal translation of a costume from a comic book page and expect it to look just as good on the big screen. This is a pretty faithful look. It's pretty faithful. Not 100%, but it's pretty faithful. And I'm thinking they needed to change it. Now, they put out a picture a while ago. Zach Levi tweeted a picture of him beside a poster where the costume looked a little bit better close up. And so I felt a little bit more optimistic. But I'm looking at this and I'm just like, I'm not feeling it. But again, before we get too carried away, let's keep in mind, while this is an official picture, it's still out of context. Like, we don't know what the content, for all we know, this is a dream sequence. This is an imaginary fairy tale sequence. For all we know, this isn't the full costume once, like, Shazam shows up. It probably is, but it might not be. So until we have context, let's not get too carried away. I will say, I agree, I'm not really getting sold on the image so far. But that, just because the costume does look good or doesn't look good, doesn't mean the movie's going to be good or bad. Like, if it was the best looking costume in the world, it doesn't mean the movie's going to be good. And even if we don't like the costume, it doesn't mean the movie's going to be bad. The movie could still be awesome. But let's wait to see the context. Let's not get too carried away. But for now, I will say that I do kind of agree with you. The costume's really not working for me all that well. Now, speaking of Shazam, there has been another new little bit of information that just came out. Now, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, of course, is getting ready to open up his new movie, Skyscraper, which I believe opens tonight nationwide. So anyway, while doing some press for Skyscraper, Dwayne Johnson was asked specifically about Shazam. Because remember, it was 4 years ago that they announced Black Adam. And then we heard, oh, he's not going to be the main antagonist, but there have been a lot of rumors still that he was going to cameo in this new Shazam movie as Black Adam. After all, it's been 4 years since they announced that The Rock was Black Adam and still nothing. However, while being interviewed for Skyscraper, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson basically said, nope, it's not happening. He is not going to be cameoing in the Shazam movie. This is what Dwayne Johnson, this is what comes out of the report from Sci-Fi. I'm not in that one, Johnson said, talking about Shazam. It's Shazam and Black Adam, and with the way the DC Universe works, we should, in theory, meet up on the big screen, but who knows? So Dwayne Johnson pretty much puts down the notion that he's going to be appearing in the Shazam movie. I don't know how I feel about this. This is unfortunate. Now, I get it on one hand, because if the standalone movie Shazam is going for that, like we talked about, like the directors talked about, a light comedy kind of feel, maybe Black Adam popping up isn't the best idea in terms of tone. Maybe in terms of tone, that would be a little jarring. If you have a very light comedy movie and then have Black Adam show up, if Black Adam's going to be anything the way like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has been saying he's going to be, which is a rough, no-nonsense, gritty, dark kind of character. So we'll have to see with that. I was one of the people who I believed, just in theory, I believed that, yeah, I'm going to guess that we are going to see Dwayne Johnson pop up as Black Adam. I think he's going to pop up there. But, apparently we're not. And I got to tell you, while I understand the tone issue, I still think it would have been in their best interest to have him make an appearance, to get people talking again about Black Adam and all that kind of stuff. And I just think it would have been a good idea. And I'll tell you why else it would have been. And really, this is the main reason I thought it would have been a good idea. It's been 4 freaking years since you said Dwayne Johnson was going to be Black Adam. It's been 4 years. Is this even going to happen anymore? I mean, I think just putting him in as a quick cameo would have at least, okay, this cements it. This solidifies it. Dwayne Johnson's going to be Black Adam. Now, it should be noted, too, that in that interview, Dwayne still insists, it's going to happen. The Black Adam movie's going to happen. Black Adam's happening. Black Adam's happening. But they've been saying that for years. At what point do we not believe it anymore? And at what point our audience is just going to go, Black Adam, they're just going to let it blow by them because they've been hearing about it for 4 years. Just on that basis alone, it probably would have been a good idea to fit in just the briefest of cameos. But he still says he's going to do it. I'll be honest with you, I have my doubts at this point. And my doubts is what brings us to today's question of the day. Here's the big question today, guys, that I have for you. And the question is simple. And there are 3 options for your answer. Here's your question of the day. Is this Black Adam thing even gonna happen? At this point, 4 years on, now we got a Shazam movie. It's confirmed he's not even cameoing in that. Is this Black Adam thing even gonna happen? That's the question. Now, in the description of this video at the bottom, you'll see a link for where you go to give your answer. And there are 3 options for your answers. Option number 1, yes, Black Adam is going to happen. Option number 2, no, Black Adam is not going to happen. Or option number 3, yes, Black Adam is going to happen, but it won't be with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Again, they made his announcement. He was in it 4 years ago, still nothing. So your 3 options for today's question of the day are, under the question of, is the Black Adam thing even going to happen? 1, yes, it will. 2, no, it won't. Or 3, yeah, it's going to happen, but it won't be with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Jump on over to the survey. You can see the link for the survey at the bottom of the description of this video. I'm actually just going to take a quick peek here because I know some of you guys have already started voting and see what you guys are saying right now. Now, as of right now, it's not a huge difference. Right now, we've got 57.4% of you are saying it's not going to happen. 31.4% of you are saying yes, it will happen. And 11.1% of you guys are saying it's going to happen, but it won't be with The Rock. So if you combine that one with no, it won't happen, at least 68% of you guys are saying The Rock ain't going to be Black Adam. That's what it's at right now, but we've seen that change a lot. So again, we'll give the official results on this poll tomorrow. But again, look in the description of this video. You'll find the link there. Click on over. Will the Black Adam movie ever happen? Yes, no, yes, but not with The Rock. Those are your 3 options. Go on over there right now. No, it won't happen is currently in the lead, but it's still kind of close. So go on over there, guys, and cast your vote. Okay, guys, with all that out of the way, we've got just a couple of minutes left. So let's go over and take some live questions. And we're going to start off today's live things. Where are my live questions? There they are. Tank Shit writes, with Shazam and Aquaman trailers confirmed at San Diego Comic-Con, what DC show for Wonder Woman? I mean, what is DC going to show for Wonder Woman? Too early in filming for trailer. I think Cheetah design, pick, and clip not released online. You know what? I think it is possible they're going to show us some Wonder Woman footage. Because they've been shooting for a while now. I remember at Comic-Con a number of years ago, they showed the first Guardians of the Galaxy teaser after just 10 days of shooting. And they just assembled together a teaser for San Diego Comic-Con. I believe DC will piece something together to show us. I don't think it's going to be a big, full-blown official trailer. I don't think they're going to do that. But I do think they're going to piece some kind of sizzle together for us to see there. It's just, the opportunity is just too big. There's no Marvel Hall H presentation this year. They're going to have a lot of momentum with Aquaman, Shazam. Follow that up with Wonder Woman. Don't just make it a 1-2 punch. Make it a 1-2-3 combination. And I think they're going to steal the show. I really do. And I think part of that show stealing is going to be them piecing together a sizzle, because they've been shooting for a while. They have enough footage that they can piece together a sizzle if they choose, and I think they will. So that's just my thoughts on that. Luke1234 writes, with Terminator, Chucky, Halloween, and now Robocop receiving reboots, well, they're not reboots. I think the Chucky one is a reboot. Terminator's not a reboot. Halloween's not a reboot, and this RoboCop isn't a reboot. Remember, these are all new direct sequels to earlier incarnations, erasing out all the other stuff, but the originals are still there. So technically, it's not a reboot. Anyway, over under 15% in the next 3 years that we hear about Hellraiser getting the same treatment. I'll take the under. Not 0, but I'll take the under. They were trying to get one. Actually, I think there was a straight-to-home video thing getting done. There was talk for years about a new Hellraiser. And it went from, yes, it's going to happen. It's going to be a big, wide motion picture. Then it was, oh, yeah, it's still going to happen. It's going to be a direct-to-home release sort of thing. Now, hold on a second. Let me just double-check this. Because I thought they were making a new one already. And they might have actually gone into production and everything. Yeah, there's actually a new one coming. It's called Hellraiser Judgment. There is a trailer for it. And I believe it's a straight-to-home video kind of thing. I believe it is a straight-to-home video kind of thing. So the idea that we're going to get a reboot of Hellraiser on the big screen in the next few years, it doesn't look like it. It looks like the studios don't believe there's enough public interest in the IP that it could make any money at the box office, because they've got a new one coming out. It's going straight-to-home video kind of thing. So I think it's pretty slim. I'm not going to say 0, but I think the chances are actually pretty damn slim that happens. All right, Adam Douglas writes, between Wreck-It Ralph 2's Toy Story 4 and Frozen 2, which will have the highest opening weekend, and which one or more can you see dethroning The Incredibles 2's opening weekend record? Well, yeah, so for those of you who know what Adam's talking about, Incredibles 2 just broke the opening weekend box office record for all time for animated films, was like $180-something million, which is crazy. Completely shattered the previous record. I mean, just destroyed the previous record. I don't think Wreck-It Ralph 2 has a chance of coming close to it. It's going to do well, but it's not going to come close. It's going to come down between Toy Story 4 and Frozen 2. And I'll tell you right now, both of those have a chance of beating the Incredibles 2 record. Both of them have a chance. I think Frozen 2 is going to have the bigger opening weekend. Oh my gosh, John, you're saying Frozen 2 is going to be better than Toy Story 4? No, I'm not saying that. But I am saying I think Frozen 2 is probably going to have a higher opening weekend box office. Because, dudes, listen, when I go to Disneyland, every third little girl is dressed as Elsa and Melsa, whatever the names of the two sisters are in Frozen. All the little girls are dressed like the Frozen girls. If you don't think that Frozen 2 is going to have a monstrous opening weekend, then you clearly don't have kids. Because if you had kids, particularly if you have a daughter, you know that there are going to be little girls, teenage girls, and adult women all across this country that are going to be clamoring to go see this thing. There is something about Frozen that touched a nerve that really let, especially young girls, really connect with those characters and fall in love with those characters and identify with those characters and find those characters special. And that's a special thing when a movie can do that. Whether it's for young men, young women, adult men, adult women, whatever, when a movie can do that with any particular demographic, that is a special and a powerful thing, particularly at the box office. So Toy Story 4 is going to be huge, and Toy Story 4 may beat Incredibles' opening weekend record, but I just got to believe that Frozen 2 is going to do even better. I just got to believe Frozen 2 is going to be even better. We'll have to wait and see, but dudes, do not underestimate Frozen, man. Do not underestimate that brand. Luke1234 writes, Robocop is my favorite film ever since I was 7. Schwing. A lot of people love that movie. The original's great, man. I didn't really care for any of the other ones. Robocop 2014 was okay. But yeah, that original is just amazing. I'm glad you like it so much. And I'm really happy for people like you who love Robocop so much, because I know it's the Robocop core fan base that is kind of excited about the idea of a new direct sequel to the original. Could be interesting. Let's see how this turns out. Ben Rayner writes, congrats, John, on your nominations. Must be. I am happy. I'm not going to lie. I'm happy. I'm super humbled about it. I'm super excited about it. No chance in hell that I'm going to win either of those things, but just the fact that I got nominated is really cool. It's really cool, and I'm super stoked about it. So thank you so much for that. Jordan's channel writes, do you know if the new DC movies will be under a different banner than the DCU? Something like DC One-Shots or Elseworlds. You know what the thing is? I don't know that the DCEU has ever been an official banner in the first place. However, getting to the spirit of your question, Jordan, I do believe I heard a while ago that they are going to have some kind of subtitle for these Elseworlds kind of movies. I can't remember what it was they were saying, but I believe they were saying there is going to be like a separate kind of banner for them. Not that they've ever been really clear about their banner for the DCEU in the first place, but from what I understand, yes, they will have a different semi-category for it to help differentiate for the audience the main continuity universe of the DC universe versus this DC Elseworlds kind of thing. So how they're going to do it specifically, I don't know. But if I remember correctly, and maybe you guys jump in the comment section, clarify that. Maybe you guys, I'm just going off the top of my head right now. If you guys know more information, put it in the comment section, help Jordan out. But I believe the answer to that, Jordan, is yes. I believe it is. All right. Next up comes to us from Cameron Peterson, who writes, took your advice and watched The Godfather. Oh my God. I'm so glad you watched it, man. Right? I get excited when people who have never seen like all-time great movies watch it for the first time. So glad you had that opportunity to watch that, Cameron. I'm glad you liked it. And oh my God is right. I mean, God, now you see why so many people hail it as maybe the greatest film ever made. It's just ridiculous. And here's the kicker. Now you got to watch Godfather 2, because there's equally a number of people who think Godfather 2 is the greatest film of all time. So now you got to watch Godfather 2, and you might even think it's better. So if you thought Godfather 1 was good, wait till you watch Godfather 2. Okay, Lawrence RBE writes, does domestic intake really matter anymore? Oh my God, yes. Avengers Infinity War made the majority of its money overseas. Same with Ready Player One, same with Jurassic Park. Yeah, but oh my God, does the domestic intake matter? First, ask Black Panther that. Black Panther made more money domestically than it did in all 124 other countries in the world. Or however many other countries in the world. How many other countries are there? Anyway, Black Panther made more money in one market than it did in all of the rest of the world combined. All right? Yeah, Infinity War made more money overseas, but don't pretend like overseas is just one market. Overseas is like 100 other markets. In the United States alone, Avengers Infinity War made nearly $700 million of its overall $2 billion box office. More than a third of its entire box office was made in one single market. Does the domestic box office matter? Are you kidding me? Almost a third, more than 1/3 of its entire box office out of the 100+ markets that it could play in came from just one single market. And you're asking if the domestic intake matters? Black Panther made more than half of its overall gross just from that one single market. And you're asking if that one single market even matters? Oh my God. And by the way, as the North American media trends go, that's how the rest of the world goes. That's not always true, not at all. But we've seen time and time and time again, when something gets popular in North America, then it catches on, becomes really popular worldwide. So we've seen that thing. Look, it's like saying this. Well, you know, people are saying that what's really important to them is the color of a car, or they really like the leather interior of a car. So does an engine even matter? Of course an engine matters. That car is not going to go anywhere without the engine. The engine's the most important thing. The North American, the domestic box office is the engine of the box office. There is no box office without the domestic market. The domestic market is the market. By far the most important market in the world. Bar none, end statement, do not pass go, do not collect $100. So yes, there are some, so the thing is, if you just want to think of it in terms of, oh, there's two markets, there's domestic and there's overseas. No, there's 100 other markets. And if you gather them all together, compared to just this one market, yes, some movies will have greater box office, all the other markets in the world combined, to just the one domestic one. But make no mistake about it, by far, ad nauseum, no questions asked, there is no other market in the world when it comes to the box office and the movie business that comes anywhere close to being as important as the North American domestic box office. It is by far the most important one. China's becoming a very big important one too. There are other markets that are important as well. But does the domestic intake matter anymore? It's by far the most important one. And it's the trendsetter for the rest of the world, for the most part. Not always. There are certainly exceptions, for sure. But yes, absolutely, Lawrence, the domestic box office still matters more than any other market in the world. Just no question about it. Rami J. Royster writes, I still have a movie pass for movies that appear outside of AMC. I've been using it for a lot of indie and Fathom event movies like Sorry to Bother You. Yeah, I got to put up my Sorry to Bother You review. I didn't like the movie very much, unfortunately. And yeah, there is still a place. I would still recommend you ditch Movie Pass and get Cinemia instead. But we've been talking for a while that I believe there is still a market for third-party services like Movie Pass, like Cinemia, for people who don't live close to one of the major theaters, or you live relatively close to a lot of major theaters. You don't really have one particular movie theater you like to go to. There's a bunch of them you like to go to. In that case, there are going to be people out there where a third-party service like a Cinemia will still be valuable. Movie Pass, I highly recommend ditching Movie Pass and going with Cinemia. Get 3D movies, get IMAX movies, get premium theater movies, book your tickets online in advance. You can see a movie more than once, blah, blah. There's so many advantages to Cinemia over Movie Pass. It's not even funny. So I would go with that one. But, you know, for people like me, where I live close to an AMC A-list is the best thing to do. All right, guys, that will do it. That's all the time I have for today. There's still a few questions left over. Don't worry, guys. I'll take those questions and add them to the next companion video. I was going to put a companion video up this morning, but then a few things came up last night, including the award nominations, things like that, and I just didn't have time to do the companion videos. So I'm going to do the new companion video. We'll go up tomorrow morning or late tonight, one of the two. So don't worry. If you sent in a question from Darth Impact all the way down, don't you worry. Those questions will be in the next companion video. All right, guys, that will do it for me for today. Listen, I want to remind you, of course, next week is San Diego Comic-Con, and I, of course, am doing my annual panel at Comic-Con, and our theme of the Masters of the Web panel this year is starting and growing your own YouTube fandom channel. Look, you don't have to want to do a YouTube channel full-time. You don't have to be looking to change careers. Hardly anybody's going to be able to do that anyway. Just for fun and enjoyment and engaging with and contributing to the online fan community. I think we need tons more people starting their own YouTube channels to contribute to and engage with the online fan community. Now, how do you do that? And how do you get more than 2 people subscribing to it? Well, that's going to be the topic of our panel this year. And I've got a great panel of people who know exactly. All 3 of my panel guests come from different perspectives. Like, one is somebody who works at Google, so has a great overall perspective of the internet, but also just started their own YouTube channel. So they're talking from a first-timer's point of view. We got a guy here who has architected and been a part of building a 17 million subscriber YouTube channel with my buddy John Green. You want to talk about engaging with fandom? We got Scott Mantz, who's the president of the Los Angeles Online Film Critics Society. He works every day with people who engage and talk about online fandom and talk about movies and everything. That's what he does all day. So this is a terrific panel of people. I really hope it's going to be on Friday morning at 11 a.m. at the Neil Morgan Auditorium. It's gorgeous, this auditorium, at the San Diego Central Library. And thanks to a special sponsor who shall remain anonymous, a sponsor just got a hold of me and said, hey, John, I just want to kick in. I want to contribute. How can I contribute? And they are supplying us with $10 AMC gift cards that you can use to buy tickets or concession stands or whatever. So all of the attendees, if you're able to get in, and not that I'm expecting more than 6 people to show up, but all of our attendees are going to get $10 AMC gift certificates thanks to our sponsor. And so that's a little thank you and a way for them to contribute to you guys, to the film fan community, which I thought was really nice. Anyway, I hope you guys will show up there. All right, guys, that will do it for me for today. Thanks so much for joining me. My name's John Campea. Thanks again for joining in, and until next time, bye-bye.